All right, I'm hitting record because Dan's being very impatient, but I'm not. I'm not completely prepared because I've got 1,000 things open, and I wanted to play something.
Well,
here
take
it
your
is.
time. This would be faster if you plugged in the mouse I gave you.
You plug in the mouse,
The Christmas present that hasn't been opened. It's still in its bag.
This came to this is welcome everyone. Unprecedented Thursday show during the summer. This came to us from just as Tony, and of course he says, "Hi guys."
Hi guys. Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
That doesn't sound right.
Okay.
Original sound.
Okay.
Original
Now
sound,
it's
everybody.
it's fine. Because Dan was pressuring me. I forgot to do one last thing.
Oh, Dan pressure is awful.
Yeah.
Especially if you're obese.
Oh, seriously, we have got so many emails now from people.
I know.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
People are afraid to come to our pizza party.
Yeah.
Because they're a bit overweight.
Yeah, I won't tell you the context of this email, Dan. But at the end of it, the guy's talking about a couple other things. He said, I wouldn't know what Dan would need, but he probably wouldn't like me as I am overweight.
See?
Wow. Okay. Well, it's great. This is a great show.
Don't you think? But see, now it balances because on the one hand, you're the big dick guy, but on the other hand now...
I'm a big dick.
You're a big dick. That was very good. That was very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to balance it, right?
You can't be everything. Yeah, that's great.
Dick balancing. That's
Dick
what it is. Yeah.
That's what that is. That is a classic case of Howard, Fred, and Dan dick balancing.
Our audience is pretty cool and irreverent and get it. I'm assuming none of those people are serious about not coming because of that. Because it's just a bit,
Well, is it just a bit? I mean, it's not just a bit that he's got a big fat hog, but he doesn't like the big fat.
No.
Anyway, Dan, where were we? Oh, so this came to us from Tony. Right. And I thought because we've been starting the show with basically trying to promote our beer because it's the summer of Humble and Fred. Well, here's another person. Tony's put together something quite interesting about our all-Canadian, our Humble and Fred's interesting all-Canadian beer. And we have a new spokesman, Dan.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. I think
excellent. Let's hear from our spokesman.
I think you'll recognize it.
This is Donald Trump, your favorite insurrectionist and convicted felon. You know these guys got a podcast. Podcast. Very big word. Sounds very important. These guys are from Toronto. Never heard of it. Must be in Alaska. One guy is named Humble. One guy is named Fred. I'm not impressed. They sound like a fart coming out of a trumpet. But their interesting all-Canadian ale by Stone Hooker is very good. I tried to give some to Ivanka and then climbed into her bed, but she didn't have any more condoms. Anywho, I must go back to stealing money from the idiots that believe in the Sky Muppet. Remember to fight.
So that was Tony and former President Trump endorsing Humble and Fred's beer. And we appreciate that.
Humble and Fred's interesting all-Canadian ale available now with free delivery anywhere in Ontario. Order yours today at stonehooker.com. Humble and Fred's interesting all-Canadian ale Stonehooker beer tasting and pizza party on the patio is Wednesday, August 7th at 7.
Excellent work. And with that, we'll say officially, hello.
This episode of Humble and Fred is being broadcast to the world from our state-of-the-art Humble and Fred studio in Toronto, from our Brampton facility featuring an inviting pool, and from Peterborough at Lisa's dining room table next to trendy black sticks in a vase. I'm Dan Duran, broadcasting live from the Bill Shafut Zoom Theater, and brought to you by the Retirement Sherpa, the Chambers Plan, Boron One, Bodog, and Lender's Choice Mortgages. And now, here are two men who take shit more seriously than any normal human. From its conceptual use in language to actual size, viscosity, and origin port, they have reviewed the various methods of evacuation and cleanup and take joy in the missteps. If this is the kind of thing you're looking for in a podcast, you've come to the right turd team. It's Humble and Fred.
Love it.
Nice job, Dan Duran. Emails today, lots of them too. I've been meaning to tell you guys for a couple days. I had dinner with our friend Darren. Everyone knows Darren, this guy. I had dinner with him on Friday night. Just here at the Humble and Fred residence on campus. Home of the International Studios. And I think you both have had the jerk chicken from around my neighborhood here. It's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Always. Some of the best in the city of Toronto is steps away from my house. So we decided to have it, and we had a huge. I had Freddie. You'll like this. I had them do a little mix and match. I had pork and chicken. It was great.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Half and half.
It was yes, Fred. It was a hybrid.
Okay. I'll give you, when you're done, I'll give you a half and half story.
All
It's
right.
amazing how this stuff comes up. But anyway, go ahead.
But I'm getting to a point that has nothing to do with how, obviously it's so good, and I recommend it. There's an Allwins up at Yonge and Egg, I think, and there's down the street from our studios. But I wanted to bring this up because I bit into a banana pepper that had been left in. I ordered some coleslaw as a side, and I guess a pepper had been left in it, and not even the hot peppers, just a banana pepper with the seeds. And I just couldn't take it. Like, honestly, it was uncomfortable for several minutes. I'd never. Like, I might like a little spice, but have you ever? Like, what I thought about after, because it took me a while to get the burning out of my mouth. How do people take like really hot, like Scotch bonnet or super, super hot wings? I just don't get it, because it made that part of the meal really uncomfortable for a while. Like I just thought of myself after, I guess there's some people that really enjoy that flavor.
Yeah, a lot of those peppers, right? You just take a little bit at once. But if you were unsuspecting, you obviously chomp down on a sizable
with the
piece.
seeds in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was something else.
Hey, listen, when I was younger, I could take a lot more spice. I used to sometimes get hot wings, not suicide. To me, that was just silly. But even hot wings, I used to enjoy them on some level, and then realized, if hot wings, if they're not done right, then you're not enjoying the wing, because the hot is just overpowering it. And same when I go for, Indian food and stuff, and they ask the spice level. I'm always medium now. I used to say hot. It's just the way I am. And
What about you, Dan? Or do you like
people?
hot?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like it and have flames blowing out their ass. I don't get it either.
Well, I'll tell you, the next day, to Dan's point about our interest in feces, it definitely was noticeable leaving my body. But Daniel, I don't remember you being a big super spice guy.
Well, I remember in Calgary the first time I got into really hot, spicy stuff. There was a Calgary place that had great buffalo wings, and I climbed the heat ladder there over a period of time. Really started. I enjoyed it at one point, but then just like Fred was saying, I think my taste buds matured. Not that I can't take it. It's just that it overwhelms the everything else in the meal.
Yeah.
You're not enjoying the meal so much. You're just battling.
Yeah, it took me a while. Like, it took several minutes until I could go back to eating. I was like drinking water and kept trying to have this conversation with Darren, and I couldn't. I said, "Hang on a second," because my mouth was on fire, and I was trying coleslaw, trying to eat something, but it just took a while for the sensation to abate.
What's supposed to be like? I'm sorry.
Everyone talk.
Is it yogurt?
I don't know.
Or milk, or what's supposed to
something,
take away the heat?
Some dairy product. I like the way the English say yogurt. They say yogurt.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, yogurt.
Sorry, Fred.
Okay,
Oh, no,
everyone,
no.
I think let's do this on the count of 3. Let's everyone talk at the same time. Fred, what's your half and half story?
Well, the other night, Delise and I, we were out and got back, and I said, "Oh, let's get some takeout." So I went over to this place. It's not Osmos, which I like. It's called Laziz, and it's just over here. It's that falafels and shawarmas and all that stuff.
It's called
right?
Leslie's. Oh, that's a little politically incorrect. Come on.
Yeah,
Leslie's.
So went over to Leslie's.
Went over to Leslie's when we had some takeout. We ate out at Leslie's.
Anyway, the typical story. I'm really hungry, and Delise just wanted, a wrap with the chicken shawarma and or mild heat and blah blah blah. But I'm thinking, I'm hungry. What am I going to have? So they have the shawarma beef and the shawarma chicken, and then they have. You can get it on what they say the rocks, which is rice, or you can get it on sticks, which is French fries. So I see this thing, and it's Laziz half and half, and it's half beef, half chicken, half rice, half French fries.
Wow.
And I thought, why not?
Go for it.
Why not?
Where's that on the Noom diet?
But I didn't get the large. I got the medium.
Oh, you did so good.
Yeah, and in retrospect, the French fries thing really didn't work with that. It didn't. Not that because most of the takeout I get is like Thai or, rice and beans with my jerk chicken or curry chicken. Not a lot of fries. It didn't work. The rice part was good, not the fry part.
All right, good note.
But I went for it, and one of those things. The last mouthful. It's like, why did I do that?
That's right. So, just a note: if you're going to go to Leslie's, don't have the fries with your shawarma. Yeah, I've got a couple of there's a couple of sort of local neighborhood shawarma places here within. There's like 2 or 3 within 3 or 4 blocks, and I always do this.
Yeah.
Whenever I have a craving for it, I'm the same as you. I just overdo it. I just get the thing is so big. This thing, by the time I get it home, like I can get 2 meals. This is how you know you've ordered too much. Just a little bit of a little takeout hack. You know you've ordered too much when you order something and they give you 2 sets of cutlery because they think because they think it's for 2 people. Ha! I say.
You know what my problem is? I'll order something like that, and it's enough for 2 meals, but I make it 1 meal.
I do. You know what? Here's what I do, because I've gone through this now, is I'll get the large shawarma plate with everything and all this stuff, and then what I will do is I will put it on a plate and then put the thing away.
Ooh,
yes,
so disciplined.
Well,
so disciplined.
if I'm not, I'm like you. I sit there and eat the whole thing, and then I just feel sick. So that's what I do now. Is I just put it away in the fridge. Oh, I may go back for a piece of chicken.
On the spice thing, spice and heat should be a complement,
right?
To the meal. It shouldn't overtake the meal, and that's why for what 40 years now, 30 years. How long have we been doing this? I've been
35 years.
Talking about my mother-in-law's like chicken curry, right? It's like, or her mince curry. Like she just knows how to do it. Like it's there. There's a statement, but it's all flavorful, and she's just got that right combo. And that's a problem I have with some of the Indian food here in Brampton, of which there is a lot. Some of it's sort of hollow because the curry's just too much.
It's just thrown together. It doesn't have the
It's just thrown together. It's not cooked into the food properly, and that's the key. Delisa's mom taught me over the years. It's the way you fry the curry into the meat, and then add the other ingredients. And some of them are just not good.
I like
Does she
flavor.
still make it?
Oh yeah.
I like flavor.
You should get Danny or somebody with.
Dan can't hear me. I'm talking and Dan's talking. Go ahead, Dan.
I should get what?
No. Just no. You. I was going, and then you just didn't. Maybe there's a delay today, but go ahead. What were you going to say? Is she still making it today?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
And
you get your son Danny, who is an excellent video person,
right?
A videographer for the stars. He records her making it for the ages, for the
posterity,
posterity for your family. Just not
that's not a bad idea. because my grandmother made butter tarts, and the recipe was around, and I don't know if it's still around, that everybody raved about her butter tarts. But that's not a bad idea, you know?
Because if you don't get the recipe, you're going to have a seance and then get it to her after.
No, I know.
What I was going to say is I love flavorful spice. I love flavorful curry where it's, hot. And what you said, you can taste it, but not what happened to me the other night where it was overwhelming.
No.
Speaking of 35 years, again, interesting that you brought it up. There's a very good chance that today, the 25th of July, in 1989, Toronto, this might have been my first week as a CFNY employee. The reason I say that, I was hired in, I'm going to say late May is when all that stuff went down in Montreal, and you came to visit, and we became partners on paper alone. But I came to Toronto around this week in July, and the reason I kind of remember it this way is that you went, I think either I saw you for a day or two, and then you went on 2 weeks vacation.
Yes.
And I was around the radio station by myself, off and on for a couple of weeks with really nothing to do. We weren't on the show didn't start. The show, by the way, I believe started around the second or third week of August in 1989.
Right.
So there's a very good chance this is the 35th anniversary of me and you becoming a team.
Wow.
Yeah. In the summer of 1989.
And the spice connection to that, and congratulations to us, eh? Isn't that amazing that it's still going on, in a different form? As much fun as ever, really. Probably more fun than ever. No nitwits around us and stuff. It's great.
Well, there's still one nitwit around us. Anyway.
But the spice connection to that, that little place called Calypso Garden.
Yeah, Jai's Rice.
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's different owners, but the product is still the same. The sign is still the same. The furniture is still the same. There's still all that money that's stapled behind the thing, but it's still there. And from time to time, I go and get the special rice, which is so good, and the spicy sauce.
Yeah, we were talking about it. It's funny that came up on Sunday night. Darren and I were talking about the type of Caribbean, sort of Chinese, Asian Caribbean fusion, whatever Jai does, and it's amazing. It's really, I still remember it. It was fantastic.
Fantastic, and as I say, still there, and still like a lot of ethnic food, reasonably priced.
Oh yeah,
so good.
In the summer of 1989, Daniel, this lovely gentleman in front of us, was still in Vancouver. And I was sort of thinking about you, Dan, because when Lumbee and I worked together, I was in Montreal for, honestly, less than 18 months. So I was living in Los Angeles. I moved to Montreal. Dan, at that time, was in Vancouver. And I was trying to sort of think, when would... Neither of us will remember this, but I don't recall... It was probably a couple of years since you and I had seen each other because, when you left California, I used to see Dan all the time. I'd go up to San Francisco for the weekend to see him. But I just wonder how soon in the Humble and Fred evolution did we say we need a different producer? Part of the reason was because the guy that was working with us hated us. But what were you doing in the summer of 1989, Daniel?
Well, I lived that year. I lived in 3 cities. I lived in Vancouver or in San Francisco, and then I moved up to Vancouver.
Right,
and the opportunities weren't the same in Vancouver in '89 for freelance voice and all that stuff. And I worked at CFOX, I think, for about 3 or 4 months.
You were on the air there doing like a swing shift or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
With JJ, actually.
Aw, little general. Little general. So you lived in San Francisco,
what was it
Vancouver.
Called? What was the show called? The Cheese Factory?
Yeah. So you lived in San Francisco, Vancouver, and then Toronto when you moved here to work with us.
Yeah. So it was more in the fall that I arrived here. I think I saw.
Yeah, it was around the time I got married. in November.
Oh yeah, that's right. I came out for the marriage.
You came
And
for
then
the
you
marriage
stayed on.
and stayed
The marriage.
and boned one of Randy's friends on our couch.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, you know that story. It's legendary.
No, I know.
Randy never forgave Dan for besmirching one of our couches with his...
Well, did he not? What was
the
it?
friend? It was the couch.
Both.
Well, did you not clean up properly?
That wasn't the point.
That wasn't the point. It was just Randy was horrified that Dan and her friend made Congress, or had Congress, whatever that is, on our couch. I used to say to her, "Do you really care?" I mean, obviously. But no, she was horrified by it.
You know, you talk about our early days, that producer we had. What was his name?
Greg.
Craig?
Craig or Greg?
I don't know.
I think it was Greg.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake made by many at that radio station in the early days, because you take that kid, and it was more important to him to make a statement in the formative years of his career. It was more important for him to make a statement that he didn't want to work at that style of morning show, as opposed to, saying, hey, a couple of pros here, I'm going to work with these guys, learn as much as I can, you know what I mean? And maybe have some fun with this. But no, it was, this isn't the alternative morning show that this station should have, so I'm going to roll my eyes.
Yeah.
It's true.
I know, and poor kid, he was like somewhere in his early 20s, and yeah, he made a statement, all right, because he could be sitting in that third window right now.
Well, seriously, I just don't get it. But there was a lot of that going on there at that time. It was like, okay, guys, I get it. You have this passion for this music, but Jesus Christ, this is your job.
Well, you have to admire those people too, because it was very rare. Dan and I had already worked in regular radio. Probably, I'd been in radio at that point almost 14 years, and I'd never seen any place like it. But rather than get into a whole bunch of old days of CFOY,
the old days,
just to say that it's 35 years or so that we have actually been doing a program together, and all the morning shows that were on the air at that time, Brother Jake, Jesse and Jean, Roger, Rick and Marilyn, Don and Aaron, or Don Daynard, Wally Crowder. That's the ones I can remember. Derringer wasn't even a glimmer in Voldemort's asshole at that point. So, and think about the fact that all these years later, I mean, no one gives no one, but probably me gives a shit. But it gives one pause to think about. We're literally the only ones left from a bygone era. We're just hanging around on the rocks, just fucking waiting to die. But we're still doing a show
On the rocks.
We're hanging around the rocks, Dad.
We're gonna go out laughing.
That's right.
Hey! These years later, quickly, and I know this is sort of insider, but we often talk about radio. All these years later, what it's come to, what it's become. I'm just reading this story. Chorus Entertainment has released its on-air talent at its Kingston radio stations. I'm thinking, what do you mean released its on-air talent? They've blown everybody out. All the on-air talent is gone.
Wow.
All the stations now will utilize voice tracking to continue to produce local content with voice tracking. What are we, fucking stupid? Seriously. But you look at Kingston's not a bad market, when you think about it. Mm-hmm. No announcers. But I think somebody told me yesterday the Chorus stock had dropped to 11 cents. Listen, and I find no pleasure in this. I find more fascination in it all.
That the solution for a bottom line, whatever,
Yes.
to bump up the shares, is that you basically strip the product, strip the product right down. I mean, that's the one thing you shouldn't be doing, really, for local radio. It seems odd that, because voice tracking, what that means is that somebody in a different market is
Of course.
doing Kingston. So
Probably
somebody out of
Toronto.
Yeah, probably Toronto.
They've probably gone into the Toronto announcers and said, here's what you're doing. Well, how much are you going to pay me for that? Well, haven't you seen our share price?
And wasn't there a story last week about Chorus? I can't remember. Was it cutting 25% of their workforce? So this is part of it, I guess.
In the fiscal year, yeah.
Well, there's a long story here about what they're doing. Chopping here, chopping there.
Chopping.
Because because really, right now, the company is virtually worthless beyond its sort of, its equipment and whatever. It is. There's nothing there. But that's the state of the situation. That's the state of the business. That's where we're at. That's where they're at. We were lucky enough to live through the golden era, boys.
That's right, the golden era. Well, those morning shows that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. I was a lot of big time, radio people in Toronto, and other than Marilyn Dennis, who is still broadcasting, but not in the form she was in 1989. No. Mm-hmm. It is weird that these the two of us, who at the time were on this sort of insignificant radio station in the general radio market, and not insignificant to the people that loved it, obviously. Mm-hmm. And we've told the stories about how we were ostracized and shunned, and I had to go away and come back and blah, blah, blah. But it is interesting that here we are in the summer of 2024 doing a program, broadcasting. Dan Duran's here. Look at us. Very, very lucky. Look at us. Very lucky. Very grateful. Let me just go through the list from yesterday. Go with the flow. Be kind. Nurture relationships. Gratitude. Celebrate good times. That's what we're doing.
Okay. Hey. So this is the gratitude section, right?
There is a gratitude section, Dan.
Okay.
Hey, and we're all well into our 60s.
Oh, yeah.
And look at us. We're not really wrinkled or anything. We don't look like old guys.
We don't.
No,
to us, to us, we don't.
Yeah, to us, we don't. Yeah.
Laughing, horsing around, being irreverent, being silly, being immature. It's good for you.
It is. Yeah. Speaking of all of that, just before we hit record, we were having a quick conversation about my visit to the trailer this weekend. We were talking about, when I might arrive. Mm-hmm. And just for everyone who's new, I'm 64, Dan's 100, and Fred is 68 years old. He's a grandfather.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just before we hit record, grandfather said to the other two fellows about what we might do tomorrow night. He said, and I quote, "Hey, guys, tomorrow by the fire, why don't we just sit around and rub each other's nuts?"
Howard, that's not for airplay.
Yeah.
"Hey, guys," he says, "tomorrow by the fire, why don't we sit around and rub each other's nuts?" And I'm like, this is probably why I don't come to the trailer that often. Because I'm always on alert. I'm always on alert for a nut rubbing.
Oh, this weekend it'll be so nice to have some variety.
Some new nuts to rub. And then he started making fun of the fact that I'm allergic to mosquitoes. I am. I'm allergic to bug bites. Sorry. I'm not a, I don't know what it is. And I wasn't that way all my life, I can tell you that.
Have you got one of those beekeeper outfits that you can...
I should wear that. A hazmat suit. The one time lady friend and I were visiting Dan, and we slept outside, and the bugs were so bad that we actually moved to Fred's attic room. Do you remember that? Like when you had the sheer little, I don't know what that thing was.
Yeah, it was an attic room with a canvas roof. Yes,
but what he had instead of walls were some kind of silky drapes, and we just got eaten alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there was an issue with, there was a big hole in the silky drape. The mosquito netting had a hole in it, which I did not know about.
And so what is there a protocol for, like, at what point are we sitting around, you've had a couple of drinks, and how do we know when the nut rubbing starts?
Well, the sun's got to go down completely so people from the road can't see it. Come on.
Now, is it like raw or through the jeans, Dan? What do you normally do?
You don't have to worry about this right now, because Fred's got on the side of his trailer the nut rubbing rules.
That's right.
I've got porch on my porch. Fred's got nut rubbing rules on his.
All right. Well, you guys let me know, because I'm gonna number 5 of happiness, go with the flow.
That's right.
I can just see it there. All of a sudden, you guys are rubbing my nuts, and I'm just sitting there with this look in my face. Well, this is where I'm at. I'm out in fucking trailer in the wilderness. Dan.
Yeah.
When you come back for the news and such, I'm going to play you, I think, one of the great series finales of a sitcom, and it was the series finale of the Bob Newhart show. The one where he was in Vermont. Remember Larry?
Yeah. Larry.
But his original show was where he played a psychiatrist, and his wife was Suzanne Plachette.
Right.
And when you come back, we will play that audio, and it's quite something.
It'll bring me great joy.
I think, it will be one of the great joys for you today.
Right.
What else? And when you come back, also, I will have a report from having watched the entire Donald Trump golfing video, and it upset me. It upset me for reasons that I think you'll find interesting.
There's an entire video? What do you mean?
I'll explain when you get back. It's taken the internet by storm, Dan.
Oh, right. Okay, great.
All right, there's Dan Duran, the news with Dan coming up 25 minutes or so. If you don't like what we're doing, just fast forward this part and get right to the news. In the meantime, the Fred Man will spread the good news.
Yeah, this is an ad/story. Team Canada women soccer play their first game tomorrow at the Olympics in France. Canada plays New Zealand. Canada the favorite at minus 480, a sizable favorite. But as you know, there's a little bit of scandal surrounding the game. Canada was caught using a drone over the New Zealand team's practice. Yeah, they were caught, and the Canadian coach has been suspended for the game. Bev Priestman is her name. She's been suspended for that game. The Australians have asked that any points that Canada might earn in that game not be awarded as a further penalty. And that, I guess, is...
I don't understand. Wait a second. They were spying on the New Zealand team?
Yes.
And Australia thinks they shouldn't get points?
I'm sorry, New Zealand. I'm sorry, New Zealand.
Okay, because I was going to say, come on, Australia. Mind your own fucking business.
I'm missing, I mixed up the two countries now.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yeah, so New Zealand has asked that the Canadian team not be awarded points for that game. So, I mean, that's in the hands of, I guess, the IOC at this point. We'll see what happens. Apparently, all teams use these drones. In fact, the Canadian men's team actually has a guy that travels with them to make sure there's no drones over top. So they all do it, but it just seems funny. Again, Canada seems to be the victim of a rule that everybody breaks. But let's see how this develops.
Just quickly, I just want to pop in and ask this. So, what I said this to you yesterday, but maybe you didn't hear. At this point, they know each other's teams. They can look at videotape. Is that what it's called?
No, I get
video. They can look at videos. What's to be gained by drone spying?
Howard, I know it just seems so stupid to me. You're right. Like, New Zealand's last game. Just look at the game film. I mean, they're not even a favorite. They're way down on the pecking order. So, my goodness, like, you think you could have come up with another solution other than blatantly flying drones over in France at the Olympics.
Yeah, what's to be learned?
It's stupid.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It seems so dumb. But, and to your point, we talked about this before the show. Like, why? Well, all teams break this rule, so why pick on us?
And I said it's even like the old Ben Johnson thing, right? They all did drugs, but it's easier to pick on a country like Canada than the U.S. because they're afraid of the pushback or...
Yeah.
How it's going to affect television ratings, on and on. Anyway, whether you're a sports bettor, a horse racing fan, a poker casino player, Bodog, your number one source of online gambling entertainment, from their industry-leading odds world-class sportsbook to their fully loaded casino and racebook, they've been providing Canadian players with an unparalleled gaming experience since 1994.
We've spoken quite a bit about Humble and Fred's interesting all-Canadian ale. I'm looking here on the Stonehooker site. Our label really does stand out. We were talking to the people there, and a lot of people are ordering it because it's just got a cool label. They don't know who we are. They don't know who we are. But and Freddie mentioned this yesterday. We're getting to the end of the first batch that's been made, so you might want to check it out. And as we've mentioned several times, you can get local delivery. They deliver to Mississauga, Etobicoke, Oakville, and Brampton for $50. Free. It's free over a $50 purchase. And by the way, a 2-4 of our beer is $69. So order a 2-4 in the local area, and it's free. If you order $100 worth of Humble and Fred beer, and why not get some extras, they will make it free delivery anywhere in the GTA. And according to the Fred Man, it is a refreshing, not only interesting, but a great flavor, low alcohol, like 4.4. Not low enough for the How Man, but low. And, of course, if you want to be part of our August 7th beer tasting pizza party on the patio, we'd love to have you. Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Yeah, I think that's all we needed to get taken care of before we continue with the Thursday show. Thursday is kind of weird. This is the first time we've worked a Thursday since May.
Yes. It's a lovely day outside, I see. Beautiful.
It is a lovely day. When are you heading north? Are you going to go to...
tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Me and my sweet little wife are going to the Jays game this afternoon.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to park here and take the go from here, or what are you going to do?
Oh, you know, my boy lives right beside the dome.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
Perfect.
That's right.
We go to the game, we park at his place, and then we go to the game, and then we come back and meet him, and then we go up the street to a Thai restaurant, which is amazing. And then I overeat, and then I find my way home.
Yeah, it was funny when I said to you, "Hey, that's not on the Noom diet." Like, I'm really good during the day. Like, the show. I have some grapes during the show, or some. Today I've got some cherries. After the show, yesterday I went right to yoga, so I burned a lot of calories, and I walked 16,000 steps.
Wow!
In a round of golf, so I had lots of exercise yesterday. And because I'm was babysitting Charlie's dog, and Stan was going to be here, so I didn't stay for dinner at the golf course. So I thought, I should eat something. I got to get something to eat. I'm just going to tell you the truth. What I ate.
Go for it.
I had a Canadian Club sub.
Okay.
The footlong, the big one.
Right.
Not one, but 2 bags of Sun Chips. Beautiful. And not one, but 2 of their white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. So I did all of this at, 8:15. All I'd eaten all day was a bowl of cereal with bananas in the morning and a couple of energy bars during the round of golf. So I probably totaled a couple thousand calories for the day, but 1,400 or 1,500 were in that meal. Okay.
Well, you earned that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
It was pretty funny. I was making myself laugh. I'm like, really?
It's what gets me is the sub part, because I don't go to McDonald's, or I don't even like Sonny's hamburgers or any of that anymore. I just, for whatever reason, KFC, and sort of on that list with me is the sub shops. I would never think of going for a sub.
See, I'm different. Because I think because it's more homemade. Yeah, I mean, maybe the ingredients aren't gourmet, but they're not. It's not getting I don't go to Burger King or Wendy's. If I have there's a place on the Queensway here called Rudy Burger, and it's the best burger I've ever had. It's right around the Burger's Priest, for you people who know this area.
Yeah, right.
But for some reason, I won't go to Mr. Sub. I don't know why. But Subway subs just seem more organic, or more organic's the wrong word, but you know what I mean? They're more homemade. And anyway, yeah, I ate all of that while I was watching. I watched some of the Biden speech, and then I watched my series on Netflix on Receivers.
The next time you go there, you should order that sub. What sub was it again? What was
it called? The Canadian Club sub.
The Canadian Club. Lift it, put the cookies right on the sub, and you can have.
No, I just crumble.
You're always in a hurry.
That's right. I should crumble the Sun Chips in there too. I love Sun Chips. Okay, here we go. Let me get everything ready. This is going to be a long one, everybody. So buckle up. There's lots of content coming, and we're off.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Dear Humble Down Fred.
All right, subject matter interesting. All Canadian ale. Isn't that fantastic? All right, this is from Jay Fedosov. And he says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
He says, please consider my interest in joining you at Stonehooker on August 7th. Of course. Admittedly, I've already had your beer. Pick some up July 2nd, as it's quite nearby, and I have truly enjoyed the easy drinking nature. Tonight by the pool with homemade burgers and fries. But I'd like to try it with the pizza you speak of. And you're in, buddy. No problem. He says, Hundy P, since the early 90s, my pals and I still crack up at some of the Goohead sketches with some gaps. I also would occasionally saunter over to the Canadian Thinker blog and The Mix, as I was able to back in the day. Well, boy, that's a little bit of nostalgia, isn't it, Howard?
Yes, indeed.
Resting heart rate 65, bowel movements insanely regular. All right. Then there's a whole other section here. Do you want me to read it?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's up to you.
Okay. He says,
what's the other section on?
By the way, I have to thank you for a bit you did a number of months ago while I was on the 401 somewhere between Chatham and Guelph in the left lane. Dan's first ever radio broadcast.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, in my sunroof, if my sunroof had been open, I may have leapt out of the car, not realizing the joke with the Morse code in the moment. Okay, you'd have to know what it was. Anyway.
You know what I did? I think I should have done this. What I did is that was the email I sent you. The other part was when, and both of them,
okay.
You know what? It's all fine. It's all fine. We're just getting underway. And what was that gentleman's name?
Jay Fedosov.
Thank you, Jay Fedosov. Very nice.
Guys.
This comes from Jim Kloss, not Santa Claus, Jim Kloss. And subject line is Dana Gould. He says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Humble, you mentioned following Dana Gould today. And I really do. I actually went to see Dana Gould when he came to Toronto at a small comedy club, the Comedy Bar, and I really love this guy. He's a funny, smart American comedian. He's the guy whose quote, I read you the quote about how useless Rush Limbaugh's time on Earth was.
Yes.
Anyway, Jim goes on to talk about a thing Dana Gould wrote for The Simpsons and such, and he talks about a bit that Dana does, and I won't get into it because it's a little inside, but Jim, I assure you that I have seen the bit you're talking about. And what he is Dana dresses up in full Planet of the Apes costume, like Dr. Zaius, and he does a talk show with people and they just pretend that he's not dressed up as an ape. Anyway, it's funnier than I've described it. But Jim, thanks for reaching out. And, this is the one part I did want to read. He says, maybe Dan can appear dressed as Cornelius from the Planet of the Apes for the beer tasting event. The reason? That way he doesn't have to face the fat people as himself. Just a thought. Stay strong, says Jim C. I'm loving this. I just love the fact that we have set Dan up because listen, it's based in fact. He doesn't love the fat. He doesn't love them. Not the way you and I do. All right. Are we moving on? You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Hi, guys.
Subject matter here is Ron from Dave Powery. He says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Good Friday morning. Well, actually, good Thursday morning. He wrote this, I guess, last Friday. I just finished the Wednesday show with Ron James. It was great. All you guys had to do was say, hi, Ron, and then you could have left for 15 minutes, and we wouldn't have noticed. Like you guys in the early years of listening and watching Ron, I didn't give him the credit he deserves for how he can tell a tale and make it all make sense at the end. He's one of the best at his craft, says Dave. He was great on that appearance. I look forward to meeting you guys on the 7th at Stonehooker. Have a goddamn good Humble and Fred weekend. Bowel movements a little
What's he say?
A little greasy lately. Resting heart rate somewhere in the low 70s. Stay strong. Regular contributor, Dave.
Very nice, DP. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys.
This is also subject line Ron James from another regular contributor. Gwen Spencer says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Great talk with Ron James today. He's so sharp and witty. Your comments afterwards, though, showed me why I like you guys so much. I remember your contempt with Ron, and I love the way that you not only got past it, but talked about being dicks about him. You always take the high ground and aren't afraid to admit mistakes and are open to having your opinions changed. Love the show, and that's why I'm a Hundy P. See you on the 7th. I think she meant to say she says see you on the 5th. See you on the 7th, hopefully, before Howard does his Irish goodbye. And what she's referring to is the fact that I will be at Stonehooker that night from 6:50 until 8:22.
Yeah, don't go on the 5th.
No. Yeah, we talked about it after Ron last week, and I guess just to say that there was a time that you and I we mocked a lot of things. We did. We used to make fun of Carla Collins. Now she's one of my best buddies, big friend of the show, loves us. You love her. We all love. We've turned around on a lot of different. I tell you what, we're not. There's a few people we won't be turning around on. Voldemort. But Ron has definitely become somebody I admire, and I know you do too. Just for the fact that he stuck it out all these years, and he obviously has an audience, and he knows what they want.
That's right. And like anything else, a lot of entertainment things, it's subjective, you know? You might not like a band, but you fully admire and respect what they've done on and on and on. You know?
What do you mean? Are you saying that one day you'll admit that you really do love ABBA?
No, but you respect what they've done.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, guys.
I'd love to have their money.
Money.
Subject matter,
Who's next?
Stonehooker. Stonehooker. From Michael Boyd. He says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
My wife and I made the trip from Whitby. Appreciate this. From Whitby to Mississauga to go to Stonehooker Brewing to get your beer. Some of your beer. And he said, we got a few others as well. It's currently in the fridge, cooling off, and I'm sampling it in just a little while from now. Always happy to support your sponsors, boys. Keep up the great work and the amazing sponsors. Oh, yeah. I might have stopped by the studio for a photo op while we were in the area. Thanks, Mike Boyd. And there's a picture of Mike standing in front of the Humble and Fred studios holding a can of Humble and Fred's interesting all-Canadian ale. Isn't that sweet? We'll put that up on the Facebook page. Okay.
All right. What is it? That's Mike Boyd?
That's Mike Boyd, Howard. Yeah, Mike Boyd.
For you people who don't live in this area, what Mike Boyd did, via the 401 from Whitby to Stonehooker is an hour and 25 minutes, no traffic. If you take the 407, it's still an hour and 5 minutes. But let's say, for the sake of this, Mike Boyd, and I saw that picture in front of the studio. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Without traffic, it's 125. Well, when is that? So this guy drove at least an hour 45 each way. It really is. You know what? It gives one pause.
He needs to be rewarded for that. You know what I'm thinking? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, then would he become the Zoom theater guy for next week?
I would think so.
I just wrote it down. Are you serious?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I just wrote down.
I mean, you need to be rewarded for you talking about commitment to a show and sponsors and my God, it gives me the shivers.
It's right there, Mike Boyd, Zoom, right there.
Oh, shiver me timber.
Okay, oh, you're funny. All right, well, there you go. So Mike Boyd. Hey, listen, we're going to read some more emails, but just know this. It's going to be the Mike Boyd Zoom Theater next week.
Hi, guys.
Humble and Fred beer in grocery stores. This is from another regular contributor. Haven't heard from him for a while. but we've heard from him often over the years. John Boris Granick says, hi, guys, because he's not an animal.
Hi, guys.
Any plans to have grocery stores sell Humble and Fred's interesting all-Canadian ale? I haven't tried it yet, but will August 7th, because John's going to be there. Just make sure you get there between 6:15 or 6:45 and 8:22. At work last week, I said to a coworker, we should also be selling your beer. The customer I was serving at the time had no idea. The customer I was serving at the time, I had no idea he tried it. I then asked what he thinks. He recommended it. Oh, so this just out of a random conversation. Anyway, hopefully one day you'll be able to get the beer into grocery stores as well. Signed, Simply John Granick. And I don't think so, because it's sold, these craft breweries, it's tough for them to get space in the LCBO. It's impossible. And I would imagine it would be the same for grocery stores as well.
Yeah, the other day I sat with Ross from Stonehooker for a while, and great conversation. He told me about some of the ins and outs, and how beer sales are structured in this province, and how the little guys are just, they're keeping them over there. The big boys are still controlling things, and just even some of the beer making process is like some of the big beers, right? They'll make the batch like at 10%, and to take it down to 5, they'll just add water. And when people say, oh, it tastes watery. Anyway, a lot of and they don't do that with craft beer. Anyway, it was fascinating, and it's really tough for them to get into the mainstream. It just is.
I learned this a long time ago when craft beer, when I was still drinking the odd time, I'd have a beer. I didn't realize that there's a lot of, or like I say in quotations, craft beer that is actually made by the big breweries to sort of seem like craft beer. Whereas companies like Ross's at Stonehooker, they're making it as a craft.
Absolutely. There's no shortcuts.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's just genuine.
All right, let's move on then, shall we, Frederick?
Hi, guys.
Subject Stonehooker beer. Here we go again. This is from Stephen Lehman. All right. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Good morning. I just ordered some of the Humble and Fred interesting all-Canadian ale. Can't wait. I'm in the Windsor area, and free shipping here to the armpit of the province. The armpit of the province. We'll be posting pics of the ale being enjoyed while stuck on Pele Island. Listener since the CFNY days. Podcast makes my day. Bowel movements like a Bulova Accutron timepiece. Always on time.
Nice.
Ooh. Resting heart rate 69. Regards, Stephen Lehman from the armpit of Ontario. It seems he doesn't like where he lives. He says, from the armpit of Ontario, only because of my work. Okay, Steve.
Easy, Steve. I just drove through. I drove through Windsor a couple weeks ago. Didn't seem all that bad. But again, I'm not sure, Ross, when we first started talking to him in February about this beer, we told him our audience was going to respond, but I'm not sure he understood. And he does now. He's overwhelmed by it. Just how, and again, back to the origins of Humble and Fred 35 years ago. I often say this when asked, it's not the biggest audience we've ever had doing this podcast, not by a long shot, but it is the most engaged audience we've ever been involved with because it's so personal. They take our audience, I think it's safe to say, takes a very personal interest in our show. You can tell by the verbiage they use, the references, the fact that, Mike Boyd drove from Whitby. Think about that. Would you?
No, I know.
I like a lot of things. I'm not driving an hour 25 to go get it.
No, that's very humbling.
It is. Let's move on then. But yeah, it's very, 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 we appreciate it. That's what I'm trying to say. We have a lot of gratitude around that.
Hi, guys.
Subject is, why are we listening to the clowns? From Dylan and Amy Weisner. And they say, of course, hi, guys, obviously.
Hi, guys.
Started regularly listening to the podcast last fall when my younger brother told me about it. The Edge was always on. Growing up, you guys were the epitome of cool. To be clear, we were about 10 and 11 years old in 1997. I've been very pleasantly surprised with the quality of the show and appreciative of the content. The Weisners go on to say, the quote the other day, "Why are we listening to the clowns?" really resonated with me. I hate the bipartisan bullshit. Assholes suck the attention out of us and try and force you into one camp or the other. Both sides have pros and cons. Why stick to one? Deplore extremism and embrace rationalism. It's a real thing. Look it up. Keep up the great work. BMs twice a morning, every morning. Get your fiber where you can. Heart rate 60-ish. 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 Mm-hmm. And simply signed Weisner. And that's great. The fact that they started listening to us last fall is just once again proof that, every year we do that. We gather a few more ex-Humble and Fred people.
Yeah. Well, the other day, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show or to you in particular or no one at all. Who knows? I'm old. Met a guy yesterday or the day before at Stonehooker. He actually has a Tragically Hip cover band type thing.
Yeah, you told me.
And he just loved the Humble and Fred show on The Edge. Knew all about it. It was great. But really wasn't aware of this. So, and he apologized. And I said, hey, don't feel bad. We don't have the big promotional machine behind us. All we can do is knock one off at a time, right? Yeah. Meet somebody like you and tell them, and hopefully you'll listen and tell somebody else. I mean, that's our promotional machine. That's our reality.
And I know I brought this up a couple weeks ago because, every time I remember it, it aggravates me. But, it's too bad we didn't have 5 years on Sirius XM where they could have, told people that we were doing a show. Anyway. Well, Freddie, let's continue then, shall we?
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hi,
guys. Okay. Subject matter, Trump won, Howard. This is an audio offering.
Yeah. I've got it.
This is from Chuck. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Thought you might find this interesting.
It's by an artist named Natasha Owens. This video I'm about to play, the audio from, has 1.9 million views. It's from a year ago and over 11,000 comments. I'm going to play you a little bit of it, and then we can talk about what's significant about it. So the song is called Trump Won and You Know It.
Yeah.
And then it's just a amalgamation of all the bullshit ballot, dead people voting, taking into consideration nothing to do with all the lawsuits and the court cases. It's just Trump won and you know it. So in loading this video, I went and looked at all the comments. And that's the really scary, scary part of it. Not the fact that it's... I could just see your face as soon as it started playing. that face you made, the disgusting hate country music face. But what's really scary about this video is of the close to 11,000 comments, and I've gone through it now yesterday when I loaded this and today when I was making sure it was there. And you can hardly find a comment that's not in support of this.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
No, I get it. But you'd think that I just was scrolling down. Well, when will the comments from people saying this is all bullshit? But it's not there. Praise God for sending us this American patriot warrior is one of the comments. A lot of God comments in these.
Yeah. As Chuck says, they really are delusional. Sucking on it.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck. But, appreciate it.
Yeah, Howard,
Hey.
I keep saying you almost have to back off this stuff because it's just so aggravating. It's, even this morning I'm looking at the Toronto Sun or Canoer, and, Brian Lilly, he's sort of a far-right commentator, and everything liberal is bad, everything conservative is good, one of those things. And, he's talking about Kamala Harris, and everybody getting all excited, wait till the polls, give it a couple of weeks. You could tell a little bit of like taking a few shots at her and then sort of giving a bit of the other side, the Trump side, and you get a feeling that, he's in the Trump camp, and this is a Toronto guy, and I might just send him an email and say, explain this to me. You know the guy's history. You know what he's done. Stealing, cheating, swindling, con man, sexual abuse, like on and on. Tell me how you think it's a good idea to align yourself with that, Brian. Like, what's the answer?
Well, I'd love to get him on the show so he can explain it to us, because obviously we're stupid.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite comments. He's the best thing that's ever happened to mankind. And then the one below is, we're not a cult.
Yeah, we're not a cult.
We're not a cult. Anyway.
Couple of jokes I heard yesterday listening to Keith Olbermann, The Countdown, which I enjoy. And believe me, he's over the top, but it's funny. When you talk about Rush Limbaugh, like his podcast, it's, again, like a morning show. He just has fun. He sings. He throws all this shit out there. But he had a couple of jokes. One was, they're of the same vein. Kamala Harris has raised so much money, Melania wants to marry her.
That's great.
He said, Kamala Harris has raised so much money, Clarence Thomas wants to vacation with her.
That's fantastic.
No, it was great. I pissed my pants. Yeah, I pissed my pants.
You pissed your pants? Wait. Yeah. What's going on at the trailer? You guys are listening to stuff. You're pissing yourself. Anyway, that was from, I don't remember now. Do you remember who that was from? That was so long ago when we said their names. The song thing.
Oh, yeah, from Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate you.
Hi, guys.
This next one is from Ed Weber. And obviously, he says,
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. Well, your bit about the ass-wiping service for the morbidly obese on Wednesday's show made me laugh so hard I almost drove out of my lane. You see, if you're new to the program, these are the things we talk about. After regaining my composure, I thought, why stop at wiping? Invest in a couple of Super Soaker water guns and bingo, you have yourself a mobile bidet service. Line up a few customers side by side and you'll have the weirdest carnival water shooting game ever. Very, very clever, Ed. And he ends with the Humble and Fred salutation, stay strong. That's great. I love that. I love when people will reference, silly things that we've said or little bits that we've done. And, we like to have fun here on the show. I don't know if you know that. Do you know that we like to have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we like to have fun. But sometimes you say these things. We say it. You do. I do. Yeah. And you wonder, are they having any impact? So when I saw that subject line, I'm like, we still got it. It's so dumb.
Oh, yeah.
We still got it, my friends. Thanks, Ed Weber. You're a good man. We appreciate you. And Fred,
Hi, guys.
This should be your last one, I think.
No, I'm done.
Oh, you are done?
I started. I started. You finish.
Well, okay. I know why I picked this one out, because it was from a guy named John Latimer. Oh, that's great. Now I remember. And the subject line is July 17th show, which I think was the last time we did emails.
Hi, guys.
He doesn't say that, but I know he meant to say it. He goes, what the fuck? Was it a bit, or did you guys just have a Biden moment? Now, listen to this. At the 45 minute of the July 17th show, I was reading an email, I think, and he says, you guys said the name at least 3 times and never caught on. Humble basically slapped himself upside the head with the name and didn't seem to get it. The kings of big cock jokes didn't get it. No way. Must have been a bit. Maybe a listener test. I hope it was a bit. And I'm going to tell you, it was not a bit. Anyway, have a listen to so this is from our email show. Listen to this. Okay, here we go. July 17th. I jump in with, yeah, we were divorced, but now we're getting back together because we done. Shut up, Howard. Hang on. Here we go.
Okay.
Hawksbig.
Hawks.
We're getting back together because the sex was so... Okay, let me just get to it. Here we go. Anyway. This is my ex-husband. Oh, my God. Anyway. It's on a different file.
Are you ready for the emails? Do you have them
First
in front
email.
of you?
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
Hi, guys.
Dear Humble Down Thread.
Okay, right off the top here, subject matter, Trump shot. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
This is from Mike Hawksbig. Okay?
Hawksbig.
He's Hawksbig. I never got it.
Neither of us got it. Mike Hawksbig. Mike Hawksbig.
He says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't catch it.
Oh, I love shit like that. I didn't get Mike
From Mike Hawksbig. Oh, fuck. I'm going to start calling that then. Mike Hawksbig.
That is great.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely got us. No, I love it. He calls us the king of the big cock joke, though. That's fun.
Hawksbig. Okay?
Hawksbig.
He's Hawksbig.
Neither of us get it.
Yeah, but when you said Coxbig, you were you playing off?
I don't know what I was doing, but I didn't catch it.
Okay, right off the top here, subject matter, Trump shot. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
This is from Mike Hawksbig.
Mike Hawksbig. Fuck.
Okay?
Hawksbig.
He's Hawksbig.
Fucking idiots. Oh, that's great. There you have it. Hawksbig. Mike Hawksbig. Mike Hawksbig. We should get Dan to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
So thank you to everybody who emailed us. There were a couple extra ones. This is from Mike Hannafin. And it's not an official email, but he did make an interesting point. I was talking about the show I've been watching. I watched some of it last night, Receivers on Netflix. And I mentioned to you a couple times how watching these shows on the NFL will give me an appreciation for the sport. I like it even better now because isolating those positions gives you a better idea what they actually do. Mm-hmm. You know, you think receivers just catch balls. They don't. They block. They run these plays, these patterns. So I was talking about how brutal that position is, about how much hitting you get. And he said, I heard you talking about what it takes to be a wide receiver. He said, I heard Jerry Rice, one of the greatest receivers of all times, describe what it takes. And here's how Rice described being a receiver in the NFL. He said, run full speed to catch a football while someone swings a baseball bat at your head. If you can still hold on to the ball, then you can be an NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, no,
I thought that was cool. Yeah, no, I again watching the episode last night, and they focus on 3 or 4 different guys from the Detroit Lions, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the 49ers, and just watching these guys and what they go through each game. I'm going to pay attention in a different way this fall when I start watching games again.
Yeah, that special, I haven't watched it yet. I'm just going to hold it off till September and enjoy it when I'm, not outside so much and everything.
No, I do.
And the season has started. That's my plan.
Yeah, you'll like it.
You can't watch them all.
You can't watch everything.
You have to schedule them. Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch House of the Dragon season 2. I've watched a couple episodes. I've got 4 or 5 behind. The guys were talking about it last night at ladies' night, and I said, "Don't say anything," because I've been saving it up just for that reason when things start to calm down golf wise. But anyway, this position in football. Again, I used to always think about the line as guys getting hammered, but you're out in open field hitting. You're out there exposed.
Yeah. It's like an open ice hit in hockey, right?
Yeah.
It's just the impact is so much more severe. And take nothing away from those guys on the line, but, they're just a few inches apart. So it's sort of like it's a lot of pushing as opposed to banging. You know what I mean?
And there's not as much open ice hitting as there once was.
No.
You don't
Well,
get a lot
of
yeah, and you don't get a lot of guys in hockey with their heads down, coming through the neutral zone and being lined up by defensemen like it used to be in our day.
Yeah.
We should take a few minutes here, Fred, and talk about some of the fine people that are supporting this program.
Yeah, like the Retirement Sherpa. Tim Niblett as a portfolio manager. Raymond James, a member of the Canadian Investors Protection Fund. Yesterday, Jay Bondi, Sherpa Jay, was on the show. You might want to check it out if you missed it. He talked about time horizons, okay? Time horizons. You know, planning for the future. Getting things in order for things you want to do. And don't forget about the standing offer. If you have a portfolio, you're not sure it's performing to the level it should be performing, Jay or Tim will have a look at it and give you an honest assessment. No obligation, no cost. They'll tell you exactly what they think. And you take it from there. The Retirement Sherpa, retirementsherpa.ca.
As we often say, maybe have the Retirement Sherpa, or at least whoever you're using. That's not the Retirement Sherpa. To take a look at this stock that we talk about, Boron One, the company that is had mentioned yesterday, advanced the licensing process for its boron project just a few days ago. And it's always interesting when this company announces another step along the very, very rarefied era that they're in now, which is a junior mining company that's on the precipice of taking an actual mineral out of the ground. It really, really doesn't happen very often. And so when it does, there can be an opportunity for profit. Again, Fred and I don't know. We don't know anything. But, and we make no claims about a stock moving or evaluations. But, hey, have a look at it. The company's called Boron One, and the website is boron1.com. So I was going to wait till Dan came back, but I'm trying to find some audio that I wanted to play for you guys. But he didn't understand. You know about this thing that happened. Oh, here comes Dan. So we mentioned that Bryson DeChambeau, who's a pretty famous golfer, he won the U.S. Open. A lot of people have heard of him. Dan, do you know who Bryson DeChambeau is?
Nope. Sounds very French.
Well, he's an American golfer. He's pretty famous, and he's won a lot of stuff. He's won, I think, 2 U.S. Opens now. Anyway, he has a YouTube channel, and it's very popular. Has 1 million plus followers on YouTube. And what he does, Dan, is he gets different people to come on his YouTube channel, and they try and they try and break a number of. They try to shoot a lowest score in golf. And
so it's all a bunch of challenges.
It's a challenge, and what they do is they play it from the front tees, formerly known as the ladies' tees, but we don't call them that anymore, Dan, because that's racist.
Right? Yeah.
And usually has golfers come on there, and famously, the last couple of days, the internet was abuzz because he had former President Trump come on, and they play a scramble. You don't know what that is, but basically everyone tees off from the same tees, and then they go to the best ball, and then they play from there. So they basically are playing one ball. So I heard about it, and a couple days ago I started watching it.
How long is it?
They edit it all down to about 50 minutes. It's all edited. It's a YouTube. It's a very, very.
No, but it's 50 minutes. That's a long time to watch a YouTube video, isn't it?
Well, I didn't watch it all at once. It's a program. It's like watching. It's not a vid. YouTube now has programs, Dan. I don't know if you heard about that.
All right. Yeah, I don't watch it.
I probably watch YouTube more than I watch any other channel now.
Right.
To be honest, other than sports.
Most of the stuff I watch on YouTube is like, planes landing and this 20-minute. Anyway, it doesn't matter about the minutes. They edited the 18 holes of him and Trump playing a 2-man scramble. That's all you need to know. I mean, I wanted to hate it. And I was watching a little bit of it before the show, and Freddie and I were talking about it yesterday. I watched the rest of it today. A couple guys I was playing golf with yesterday, we were talking about it too. Let me just say this. I'm not taking back all the things I've said about Trump. This is not what this is about. But a couple things I have observed. It is the most normal I've ever seen the guy. I have never seen that man, Donald Trump, in a more regular guy setting, being more of a regular guy. I have to admit it. You know, we're all about, real talk here. So the real talk is, it was the longest I've ever watched him do anything where I didn't think he was a douchebag. And the second thing, and I have gone on Twitter many, many times to say there's no way this guy can be as good a golfer as he says he is. And I have to admit it. He's pretty good.
What?
Yeah, he's pretty goddamn good. It fucking pains me to say it, but he's very...
I don't want to hear that.
I know.
Well, what about all the cheating and the bad swing
I
you talk about?
I know. I'm not saying that I don't think he's good enough to have won the club championship against younger men. But I can tell you right now, he's the best golfer that's ever been a president. Absolutely, hands down.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It was a weird feeling watching it.
Do you think they edited it?
No, you can't edit his golf swing. You can't. They didn't edit where he hit the golf ball. I watched him play 18 holes in a edited fashion, and when we were talking about it yesterday, he really hits the ball very, very well. Very, very good golfer. It pains me to say.
Does he fart when he swings? Anything like that? Anything
he didn't
wrong?
do that. Didn't shit his pants.
Oh.
What are you sitting there thinking, Mister?
I saw some of it too, and you talked about how real he was with Bryson.
Yeah,
but I've heard that. A lot of people have said, the Donald Trump you see on a campaign stage isn't the Donald Trump that's walking around Mar-a-Lago slapping people on the back, telling jokes, and being a very nice man. And I think, well, okay, but that just adds to me, just makes it worse because it just proves what a con man he is. And to be president of the United States, his strategy was let's go after America's scum. Let's go to the most intolerant, racist people in America and build a base. He's a con man. So, you know what I mean? So from that standpoint, it makes it even worse for me because he's play acting and he's targeted that part of America that's vile, and I don't feel good about that. So when somebody tells me he's a nice guy and he's very hospitable at Mar-a-Lago and all that stuff, it's but look what he's done to the country.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
I'm getting too deep here, but
I know.
That's what I think when you tell me this story. Super, he's a great golfer. Maybe he should be. And he owns a bunch of golf courses.
No, he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I disagree. He shouldn't be a good golfer.
All right.
But he is. Doesn't matter how many golf courses you own. Somehow along the way, he's got a weird swing. It's unorthodox, but somewhere along the way of this man's vile life, he learned how to play golf.
Yeah, which is great.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not. Again, don't get me wrong. I preface it by saying it doesn't change what. Listen, I'll play you some. I'll play you some. Here's some audio of him at a rally recently.
You can do it, baby. I love you so much. Classic. And just bad news. Bad things are happening. Mom, I'm sorry. Mom, I didn't do it.
So there's that guy who's still a fucking idiot. I just wanted to pause because we've been doing this now for 9 years or whatever. Just say in that moment, in the moments of. Because what they do, Dan, is they show you the shots and then you should have a look at it. The way it's pretty well shot, actually. It's very well shot. And Bryson's been doing this for a while. It's all professionally done. And they have a camera in the golf cart as they're riding between shots. And DeChambeau and they're just talking. And as I said, it's the most normal, weirdly normal guy version of him that I've ever seen. I'm not forgiving any of it. And to your point,
nobody thinks you are. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
And I get your point. Like the video we played of those people of the whole thing was stolen. Like the fact that he's never either admitted that the election wasn't stolen or the fact that he's never reached out to Biden and said, hey, listen, politics aside, good job, Joe Biden, because he's a vile, vile man. But in that video I saw, it was like, well, who's that guy? Because that guy doesn't seem like that idiot that I just played.
No, I get it. And I watched some of it. I thought the same thing. And many times over the years, I've said, Trump blew it. Once he was elected back in 2016, all he had to do was be a nice man. And he could have owned it all. And as you said, he's not capable of that. That's a fantasy in your mind, Fred. But I just thought, get elected and just be nice. You got some results. You took Obama's economy, which was fabulous. You ended up fucking it. But, at the time, before COVID, he was on a roll. But he still had to be a prick. Like, why? And another thing that and again, I sound like a broken record, for what he's done. I mean, he paid a $2 million fine from stealing from his own charity. In other eras, that would have been enough to be ostracized and thrown out of politics. That alone.
Yeah.
So then let's look at everything else that he's done has been proved. He's been fined. He's been convicted. Bryson DeChambeau, hey, here's a good idea. Let's have that guy on the show.
I know. I thought about that. I know.
Like where we've come from, that this now has been accepted, and the normalization of Donald Trump. Honestly,
well, that's
I just
what
find
I
it sickening.
But that's what I want to jump in and say. Like, what Donald Trump and the last 9-8 years of the internet and it's my bit about. There was a time when a politician would say, "Grab him by the pussy," and that would be the end of that politician. There was a time when you'd be convicted for 34 felonies. And that would be the end. But not to defend Bryson DeChambeau, because I thought the same thing. What is this guy? What does he need Donald Trump on his YouTube channel for? Well, aren't we all just looking for likes and clicks? And DeChambeau normally would have a video with another golfer on that. Might get, I don't know, a couple 100,000, 500,000. The last I looked, it was 5 or 6 million. But as DeChambeau says, politics aside, which you and I don't believe, but politics aside, who wouldn't want a next president on this challenge that he's been doing for a year or so?
Well, why didn't he have Obama on? He golfs.
Because Obama's not, I don't know, maybe Obama wouldn't do it.
Well, and again, I understand what you're saying, but about the clicks and everything, but at some point, there's a moral line in the sand, that you don't step over. And to me, if he's doing it for clicks, so he's willing to hooer himself.
Well, yeah, but you just said it a second ago. It's all, the bar has been lowered or raised, whatever bars do, as far as what's, you know what I mean? Either it's up or down, but it's I actually don't think it's Bryson DeChambeau's fault. He's just a 30-year-old guy in the world in 2024 who doesn't think like the way that you and I do. He just goes, well, a lot of his audience, I don't. The fact that he had Trump
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, and I'm not arguing with you at all. I from my standpoint, the thing that gives me the most frustration is how this guy slowly but surely, through his own doing and his own mastery, has been normalized. All these things that he's done are just overlooked now that years ago you never would have overlooked them. There's a couple guys I listen to on a golf radio, a couple guys I really like, and they do a show every day between noon and 2. And one of the guys is a very good golfer, former U.S. Open or U.S. Amateur champion. And they were talking about this video that Bryson did with Trump. And they were talking about similar, like how good at golf Trump actually is. And then I went on, and I was disappointed a little bit because because of this conversation. So I went on this guy's Twitter page. And I just wrote, a little disappointed to hear you guys kind of normalizing this, but I said, I said, so I guess you guys are okay with a convicted rapist. Because all this talk about how this is the most normal I've ever seen Trump aside, it takes away nothing from the last number of years of all the things that we've documented on this program. Anyway. So let's personalize it. You're at your club, your golf club. There's a guy you often golf with, in foursomes, whatever, in groups. you find out he's been convicted of sexual assault. Do you golf with him again?
No.
No, you don't. And that's what bugs the shit out of me. You don't. So
Wait, are we golfing at Augusta? Because if we're golfing at Augusta, I'm going to put that aside, Friedrich. We got to get to Dan
And is
Durant's
it golf
news.
free? Is it golf
All right,
free?
no, not free. If we're playing at Augusta, I'm playing. We talked about the trials and tribulations of the Canadian team at the Olympics. Fred was talking about the Bodog odds. Let's see what Bodog got to say for themselves.
Feeling stuck on the sidelines?
Hey, watch where you're walking, man.
When life gives you too much to tackle?
I'm gonna need that draft tomorrow.
You know it's time to play. It's easy to find your next favorite game at Bodog.net. Get the latest sports odds and free tips to help you go all the way this football season. Visit Bodog.net today. #Make a play.
Now, here's to a fella named Dan Duran, a hell of a guy with a hella big wang, the quintessential anchor man, his voice is nice and low. Dan Duran, the anchor man comes, as for credentials he has none, can't tell a headline from his bum, but his voice is nice and low. Dan Duran, the anchorman's here, he's prone to falling off his chair, but he's got a big wang, so he don't care, and his voice is nice and low.
My voice is nice and low.
And now live from Lisa's house, the matrimonial Duran-Lisa home. It's time now for movie anchor, all-around wonderful man. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel J. Gebert Duran III.
Big Bread is getting their hands slapped. Loblaw Companies, Inc. and George Weston Limited has agreed to shell out $500 million for their role in a bread price rising scheme, a scheme that plaintiffs said price fixing was standard operating procedure. The plaintiffs said that the defendants participated in a 14-year industry-wide price-fixing conspiracy, leading to an artificial increase in packaged bread prices, as you'd expect. The $500 million settlement is the largest antitrust settlement in Canadian history. The suers are now going after Canada Bread, Sobeys, Metro, Walmart Canada, and Giant Tiger, who they allege were also involved in that industry-wide conspiracy. By the way, the Competition Bureau had already fined Canada Bread $50 million, the largest fine of its kind ever in Canada, and Loblaw's got immunity from that for cooperating with the Competition Bureau. So now Loblaw can go ahead and raise prices without the scheme. Because, you know, when there's an oligopoly, you just jack up the prices. And who knew there was so much bread in making bread?
I like that. It's sad, isn't it? I mean, you know, a basic staple for families is bread, making your kids lunch for school and everything. And there you have it. Just, you want to talk about evil. But
Oh, yeah, they're fucking evil. I don't really have a lot of bread. I don't eat a lot of bread. Do you?
not really, not like I used to. But you know, they're everyday people. You know,
Daily bread,
for
yes.
their kids for lunch, and like, you know, gouge with other stuff. I guess if you have to gouge with something, but bread.
I remember when Dan lived here, he was quite upset that I didn't have a toaster.
Yeah, I got you one.
No, now I have a toaster that I never use.
Yeah,
Have you taken it? Have you taken it out of the box?
Oh yeah, it's out there on the counter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's right next. It's right next to the Christmas mouse.
Yeah, it's. I love a great sourdough bread. Sourdough's
Oh yeah,
supposed to be
sourdough.
good for you. I have sourdough all the time. I like the sourdough.
On that point, I had a little set too with the people over at Sobeys.
That's it too.
Yes, you know, the first one was over the salad. Like, I've noticed the fresh salad that you get in the bubble things, packs. You know, the what they
Like
make
bag
daily.
salad.
No, not bag salad. You know, in the plastic bubble thing that they make daily.
Oh,
Fresh
yes,
salad.
yes.
You know. Well, I noticed it always used to be fresh, and then all of a sudden I'd go there, and it was like 1 and 2 days old, so they stopped making them as often. And then I confronted the woman, the manager there, and I told you the story. She's looking at me going, there's nothing wrong with that if it's 2 days old. I said, that's not the point. If I'm buying fresh salad, I want fresh salad. I want it made now. So they went back and made one.
Did they make a loaf of bread for you?
No, they went back and made one, and then they, rubbed their dicks all over.
And then my second thing was, this whole shrinkflation thing, which is running wild.
Yes.
Well, we used to get the sourdough bread at Sobeys, and we really enjoyed it. It was like $3.99 or $4.99, whatever it was. $4.49, whatever. All of a sudden, I'm going to get this bread, and it's probably 1/3 smaller, but the same price. And I'm sorry, but I had to talk to the manager. What's going on with this? I said, what's going on with the sourdough bread? She says, what? I said, well, it's obviously smaller. I said, it's about 1/3 smaller, but you're charging the same price. She said, well, I really hadn't noticed. I said, well, I've noticed because I buy it all the time. But guess what? I'm not buying it anymore. Thank you. And walked away.
Well, you know what you could do?
God. What?
Well, you could not go to a big chain grocery store. Go to some small place who is making their bread fresh, like right around the corner from here.
You're right. I should. You're right. I mean, that's how we fight back. That's right. Even if you pay a little bit more to the little guys, I don't mind that.
Yeah, like there's a place down here on the Royal York and, 5 minutes from here, where there's San Remo Bakery. You get real fresh food made by human beings. That's how you fight back. I mean, I don't buy bread, but I'm not, I certainly am not buying it from Sobeys, especially my sketchy Sobeys here.
But the thing is, Wendell would make a nice pot of soup.
Oh, soup!
Getting the sourdough bread, and it was tasty and nice, and it was soft and cool. And of course, that can't continue. Oh, you can't have that. So so let's make it smaller. So at the end of the day, for the same money, we could probably make maybe 25, 30 more loaves out of what we're saving. Anyway, that's our world. That's our world.
There's a great little bread shop here in Peterborough called the Hardwinter Bakery. See there, that one. Everything they make is except for one thing is sourdough based.
Dan, we got an email today from somebody. His name is Mike. Dan.
Yeah, Mike. Okay.
And his last name is Hawksbig.
Yeah.
Mike Hawksbig.
Mike Hawksbig. Could you say his name for us out loud? His name is Mike Hawksbig. Do you want to just give a shout out to him? Say, hey, congratulations. Hey, say, hey, Mike Hawksbig. Just give us a little shout out. Do that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on, Dan.
Mike Hawksbig.
Mike Hawksbig.
Mike Hawksbig.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
we know.
Yeah.
Don't brag, Dan.
That's right.
We know.
And of course, he's got a friend. His hyphenated name. It's Mike Hawksbig's Enormous. Just want to circle back, if I may, circling back, because I don't think to the Trump thing.
Oh, okay.
Just to say that I forgive nothing by my observation of that video. But I would be lying if I didn't tell you the truth about what I saw in that video. But it sort of makes his behavior even more curious and remarkable and no less disgusting. I just want people to understand that. I'm not like, I'm a Trump guy now because he can golf. I know.
You're over defending yourself. We get it.
Yeah, I hope you get it. I hope people get it.
Of course we get it.
I don't know if everyone gets it.
The guy's a good golfer. I mean, O.J. Simpson was a good golfer, apparently.
Not like
we
this.
We get it.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's what I want to say.
It could be also that his golf, when he's golfing, that's like his
downtime from being a nut?
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe.
It's like a meditation of some sort of being on the golf course and just,
I understand.
Blocking all the other stuff that's going on in his life that, he has to deal with all the time. I
get it.
But
so, anyway, so I just wanted to mention that. And, of course, just give a quick shout-out down again to Mike Hawksbig.
Yeah.
But
hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike Hawksbig.
Hey, Mike.
Just a little further to that. And because you push back on this and explain it to me. I'm not challenging you. I said, the guy, his whole life, he's been around golf, owns golf courses. Why wouldn't he be good?
Well, I push back saying that you can be around golf courses.
That's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
okay, explain it.
Well, a lot of people I know, I don't know a lot of people that own golf courses. I know a couple. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying you don't necessarily. Right. I know a lot of CPGA professional golfers, guys that are like teachers and they work in a pro shop who can't play. Mm-hmm. That aren't as good as what I saw that guy yesterday. So somewhere along his crazy fucking ass life, somebody taught him how to play. That's all. That's all.
And see how big he is?
What's that? Everybody
see how big he is?
Yeah, he's a big fat man.
He's huge.
Big fat gooey guy. A lot taller than I thought too. But again, I just wanted people. I'm not taking. I'm going to go. I'm still full on that he's a crazy maniacal motherfucker. Freddie. Mm-hmm. We can't finish this program without talking about our very, very good friends at the Chamber Plan. I'm playing with Brett Tanner tomorrow. Some golf. There's a guy that can golf. He's a good man, Brett Tanner.
He's a very good golfer, Brett Tanner.
Yeah, very nice. Good, nice player.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance Plan, Canada's #1 group benefits plan for small business. That's what it is. Go to chamberplan.ca, get a free quote. Yes, you can. If you have a small business, you've thought about, a benefits package for your people. You can get all the information you need, even get a free quote. Yeah, you can get a free quote. Get an idea of what it will cost you to be part of this. You'll be pleasantly surprised, like so many other small businesses. About over 30,000 of them now across the country. Been around for 40 years. So obviously it works, nonprofit. They're not gouging you all the time. Premium increases. They hold the line on them quite well for that reason. Small business can't afford big jumps. And again, they've done a great job of that. Prescriptions and dental and therapies and travel insurance. They have an HR component that you can use, which is, think about that. That's pretty invaluable. You had advice if you have an arsehole working for you, something like that. And the Teladoc system, which works brilliantly if you need specified treatment. So it's the Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance Plan, Canada's #1 group benefits plan for small business.
Hey, Dan, maybe Mike Hawksbig could be one of your reporters. When you and now we go with this report, we go to on the scene. It's Mike Hawksbig.
Yeah, you should have used that name, Dan, when you were working for CSN.
Yeah, everybody. I'm Mike Hawksbig. Now on to tennis. Dan reminded me that I had teed up. I said I was going to play a little clip of. There was a time, when television mattered. There were sitcoms you'd watch. I was a huge MASH fan. When I first moved to Vancouver, I was. I grew up in Moose Jaw. There was literally 2 channels, CBC, CTV. I mean, even here in Ontario, you guys had a few more channels. But I went to Vancouver, and all of a sudden there was all these channels, and I could watch MASH. I remember thinking that was cool. I could watch it in reruns 4 or 5 times a day. I'm explaining this because there was a show that I used to love, the Bob Newhart show. And there was the Bob Newhart show, Freddie Wright, the original one where he played a psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. And then there was the Newhart show where he played the innkeeper at the end there in Vermont. Dan, do you remember that one?
Yes, of course I do, yeah. I like the original one, the psychiatrist one, better. For whatever reason.
Yes.
But Larry,
yeah. And so... just like when MASH ended, something like 70 or 80 million people watched the finale. When Seinfeld ended, 60, 70 million people tuned in for the series finale. Now, because of streaming, shows will come and go, and I don't think it has the same impact. You with me?
Yes.
I'm with you.
So, in 1990... shortly after this program began, the series of Newhart, where he played the innkeeper, Larry, Darian, whatever, Daryl, millions of people tuned in to see how they were going to wrap up the series. So this scene begins. There's a lot of laughing and applause, but just bear with me. The scene begins with him getting hit in the head with a golf ball. And then he sort of goes slow motion. He goes down, and then the lights come up on him in bed. And here's what he says.
Honey. Honey, wake up. You won't believe the dream I just had. What? But don't you want to hear about it?
So what happens is his wife, Suzanne Plachette, who I always thought was very attractive, on the final scene of the series of The Guy in Vermont, he wakes up in bed and his wife, Suzanne Plachette, is there. And this was huge news back in 1990.
Yeah, because she wasn't part of the second show, right?
She wasn't on the second show. And the whole premise here is that the entire second show was a dream he had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But in show business terms in those days, it was like a mind-blowing event. And this was one of the things about the brilliance of Bob Newhart.
All right, Bob. What is it?
I was an innkeeper in this crazy little town in Vermont.
I'm happy for you. Good night.
Nothing made sense in this place. I mean, the maid was an heiress. Her husband talked in alliteration. The handyman kept missing the point of things. And then there were these 3 woodsmen, but only one of them talked.
That settles it. No more Japanese food before you go to bed.
Anyway, so Bob Newhart died recently, and I was reminded of this final scene. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that TV will never mean the same as it did back when this series ended.
Mm-hmm. You know what I was never big on with Newhart, though, was the phone call bits. Remember he used to pretend he was on the phone with somebody?
Yeah.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Why
I don't know.
Why I don't know. Why do you hate?
I don't know. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying I thought he was brilliant. I loved his shows and everything, but those bits never really landed right with me. That's all.
Why?
That was part of his stand-up, right?
That was part of his stand-up. That was his signature thing. Like,
I know
the driving instructor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, so you're saying this man's signature bit you had no use for.
I didn't find them as funny as other people did. That's all. You know, this is real talk. I'm going to be honest. I can't let that go by.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
When Bob Newhart recorded his first album, this is the last little comedy trivia for you. Mm-hmm. So Bob Newhart was a guy on the radio somewhere in the late 1940s, early 1950s, somewhere around that time, Dan. And he had these bits where he's like, they were not just talking on the phone, but they were one-sided conversations. Mm-hmm. It was him responding to somebody who wasn't there. A lot of people found these quite humorous. Mm-hmm. Not everybody did.
No.
But here's a bit of cool comedy trivia for you. The very first time, and Bob Newhart had 3 huge selling comedy albums of these recordings. The first time Bob Newhart recorded them at a comedy club in it wasn't a big city. It was a smaller town. Maybe I think it was in Texas somewhere, because it was the only club that would allow an unknown guy to come and record at their place. Because in those days, clubs were huge, right? So Bob Newhart did 1 show Friday, 2 shows Saturday night, and they made those shows into this huge selling comedy album. Little trivia for you, it was the first time he'd ever performed live in front of people.
What?
What?
The first time he'd
Wow.
ever done stand-up was the first of those 3 comedy albums he did. And I heard him being interviewed talking
Wow.
about it. And he said, so that nervousness that he has sort of in his delivery, it was because he was really shitting his pants. Not literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Stories.
First
I just
time
looked
he'd
it up.
ever been on stage.
I just looked it up. He appeared as the guest host of Carson 87 times on Carson.
Yeah. He was also best friends with Don Rickles. And there's a great Rickles story. They became like best friends, kind of like Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks. So Bob Newhart's wife was a very lovely woman. Jeannie was her name. And something like that. And the very first time she'd ever seen Rickles perform, they had gone to, Bob was performing in Las Vegas at a bigger room, and they were going to go have dinner with Rickles and his wife before Rickles' show, like at 1 o'clock in the morning at one of the lounges. And so they're having dinner, and Rickles is just the sweetest guy. And as they're taking their seats, Newhart's wife says, I just don't understand, where Rickles gets this reputation, because he's just such a lovely man. Rickles comes out on stage, and the first thing he says is, oh, great, we got that stammering comic in the front and his whore wife. that's how he fucking opens. And Rickles tells this story, and he looked over at his wife. She's like, oh, my God, fuck, who's this guy? Yeah, the stammering comedian and his whore wife.
Oh, that Rickles story I love.
What, the Frank Sinatra one?
Oh, all right. When he's in a restaurant with a woman, a girlfriend, a date, whatever, Sinatra's there, and he goes over to Sinatra. Apparently, this is a real story.
Yeah, it's true.
Frank, I'm here with this woman today. Can you just come over and say hello? So it'll look impressive that I know you. So Sinatra says, okay. So Rickles and this woman are having dinner, and Frank comes over and says, hey, Don, how are you? And Rickles looks at him and says, hey, Sinatra, can't you see I'm eating?
That's right. Fuck away,
Stop bugging me.
Stop bugging me. I'm having my dinner. Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, so that's this week. We're back for our regular Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. We'll have plenty of tales from the trailer. I don't know. I'll certainly. Are people allowed to audio record or film this ceremony where we sit around and rub each other's nuts? So we.
Yeah, we could.
Should we film that for our OnlyFans page?
Yeah, we could.
Next week, a couple of dear friends of our show, Larry Fedoric, will be here. Carla Collins on the Wednesday. And once again, don't forget, you can join us for our beer tasting pizza patio party at Stonehooker on the 7th. Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. And that's it. Any final thoughts there, fellas?
No, not offhand. Maybe you can go out with a beer jingle.
I like that. Sure.
End off the week.
And Dan, any final reports from Mike Hawksbig?
Yeah, Mike is great. Yeah.
How about Mike Hunt? Does Mike Hunt have anything to say?
Yeah.
All right.
Here's to the guys with the cool podcast about weather and dicks and getting old fast. Interesting, all Canadian brew is waiting for you. Humble H and Freddie, be right on the cans. If you don't get it now, you're not real fans. Interesting, all Canadian brew. You know what to do. Interesting for the beach or the dock. Going Dan's got a big cock. Interesting. Yeah.
This episode of Humble and Fred was brought to you by The Retirement Sherpa, The Chambers Plan, Boron One, Bodog, and Lender's Choice Mortgages. For contests and comments, we read all of the emails. Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Tell us what you think. Maybe subscribe to the podcast. maybe give us a review. That would be awesome as well. For Humble and Fred from the Bill Chaput Zoom Theater, I'm Dan Duran.
No, Dan, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's Mike Boyd Zoom Theater. The Mike Boyd Zoom Theater, please. I apologize.
Boyd.
Not Mike Hogsbig. Mike Boyd, Dan.
Boyd Zoom Theater. For Humble and Fred from the Mike Boyd Zoom Theater, I'm Dan Duran. And remember, we're back on Monday after a weekend of nut rubbing, pissing our pants, and trailer talk. Till then, enjoy every goddamn day.